Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 495. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're excited to have back with us the internationally acclaimed game designer and owner of Shoestone Publishing, Andrew Gronosky. Let's say that last part. Andrew
Gronosky.
Gronosky. That's right.
Thank you.
Andrew Gronosky. All right, Andrew. How you doing?
Thank you, Barney.
Yeah.
It's great to be back. Good
I
to
know.
talk
So
with you again.
I was doing the math. You were on 4 times before, so now you are officially. So you went from friend of the show now to there's going to be an acclaimed like the 5-timers club. So being on 5 times. So
Wow.
yeah. I've only got a few people that have been on for 5 times, and you've reached elite status on Storycomic. So.
And
Yeah.
I do want to give a pitch that anyone can join the prestigious and esteemed club of Storycomic patrons on Patreon.
Yes, exactly. See, and you've been a stalwart a stalwart supporter of Storycomic, and you're one of the elite that are members of the patrons, one of my Storycomic patrons. So hats off to Andrew Gronosky and everybody over at Shoestone Publishing. So yeah.
Thank you.
So last time you were on, we did the math. It was over a year ago you were on, and you were talking about Drintera, and so there's a lot of forward momentum happening now, huh?
Well, there's a lot of change, and a lot of change is progress. I think, right? Some, and yeah. So we Drintera, when last we talked, was a monthly magazine, and I was looking to extend it into its second year. Well, I ended up having to cancel that plan for financial reasons, but what we've done, I've worked with the team, and I need to back up and tell your listeners and viewers what Drintera is. But we've got a new plan for Drintera and how we're going to bring it to the world and try to grow the audience incrementally, right, and to the point where it becomes a sustaining business. Drintera is a fantasy setting for Dungeons and Dragons and similar games. I've been playing Pathfinder lately, so
Okay.
you may notice a Pathfinder shift, but it's and I say it's for multiple games because it's mostly system agnostic. The world is about what we're producing is world lore and background material for a playable setting that will give you creative fuel as a player or as a game master to inspire you to create plots and stories. And the vision of Drintera, this has become a passion project to represent multiple cultures from around the world, which is a very
Mm.
big order, and a lot of publishers are intimidated by it. I came into it gradually and grew the team. We have an international team of creative people who are raring to go. If the impediment, okay, is I'll be clear, it's money. We
Mm.
need a market. We need to sell this product in order to make it financially sustainable and to pay the creators to create. So it so happens that, well, so, all right, let me back up. Yes, thank you. Inclusive by Design. And Drintera was a magazine. We did publish 11 issues,
Okay.
2 of which are free. And you can get them on shoestone.com or DriveThruRPG. And yeah, we commissioned all this artwork. We've got top-notch creative people working on the project. And
Right.
the magazine is a survey. It covers many different aspects. It touches on many different aspects of the world of Drintera. And I realized when I needed to replan the project to be a little smaller. Right, the magazine was too much um, all at once with not a big enough audience. So we had to scale down, and I decided in scaling down, I want to focus on
Mm.
building one area at a time. And I thought that I had always meant to have a continent in the world that is similar to a continent from Earth.
Mm.
So Europe, which you often see fantasy settings based on Europe, also Asia, and Africa and North and South America. Australia, I think, sorry, Australia. Okay, I left you out, but it's possible to fit you in later because the world is flat, so I can just extend one edge. But we'll get to that. Well, I don't know if we'll get to why the world is flat. It's flat because it's way easier to make maps there. That's the giveaway. Okay, and there's always been a practical bent to Drintera. I talk about the lore, and we have this enormously imaginative, creative team. But my forte is using my now 45 years of experience as a game master to make sure that this is curated in a way that it's playable and practical
Mm.
for you.
Right.
But I thought that North America would be hard
Right.
to bring to fantasy and that I'd have to do it later. And it turns out that I had a Native American creator on my team that didn't even know it.
Okay.
And then I put out a call just looking for um, general creative writers with, as I put it, cultural literacy in a non-European culture. That's what I
Right.
asked for. And I had two Native American authors reply. Now I have three. And it became achievable
Mm.
to build the North American style continent for Drintera. And that's what we have been setting up, and we've got a head start on it, of course. That's what we've been working on as I was replanning over the year. We did hire a cultural consultant who, at this time, doesn't have any writing credits, but has been invaluable in promoting a Native American uh, sensitive and in showcasing
Right.
what's distinctive, what is different about in Native American culture from what you dispelling some myths, but also elevating some principles that are not often told, or at least
Right.
not right that I were new to me. Um, and what I'm most excited about actually is that our Native American authors wrote an article about how to play as a Native American inspired or style character and what are themes of Native American stories that you can use as a game master to make your stories not just look North American, but to feel North American. And you can
Right.
bring in some or a lot of that influence into your game. You know, uh, I fully believe in training wheels,
Right. N-
or you can jump in the deep end. I mixed the
Right.
metaphor. I really did.
So, yeah. Did you know? So my question for you is that I know um, I started role playing in the '90s, and I was playing a lot with like White Wolf, like World of Darkness games.
Yep.
And at the time, there were good intentions of the writers
Yep.
to be inclusive.
Yeah.
But when you look at them 30 years later, it's like,
Yep.
"Oosh, that didn't age well." Like, how are
Yes.
how are
Excellent
you
question.
then? Yeah.
Great question. And I obviously, well, not maybe not obviously. I put a lot of thought into this. I wouldn't have tried it unless I were confident in our approach.
Hmm.
So I, first of all, had been working with an experienced cultural consultant for some time on Drintera, given the objective of trying to represent uh, multiple cultures from around the world. And I came to realize that it's achievable if there's representation on the creative team, especially the writing team, for the cultures that we're trying to represent in the world. You may have heard the slogan, "Nothing about us without us."
Hmm.
So I also had learned from chatter in the independent TTRPG community that these underrepresented creators didn't like being the sole representative on their
Okay.
team, right? They didn't want to feel alone. So we need more than one person. And in fact, what I found is we need more than one area of expertise. So we have a team member who specifically had signed up and was working as a freelance cultural consultant. You'll see the term sensitivity reader that I think really understates Abby's role in the project. She's more of an impresario for the opportunities to represent the culture than she is
Hmm.
a censor. She has said there are certain things that need to be rephrased. She's done the safety role, but her greater value is in promoting opportunities for representation. So that's how we did it. And we
Okay.
have a core of 4 people who are enough to write a year's worth of articles about this setting.
Okay. Well, hey there. If you're enjoying our podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep this show going. We love hearing from you, so any feedback is welcome. And thank you for being a part of our podcast family and for all your support. It truly means a lot to us. You go to shoestone.com/Drintera. But if you go to shoestone.com, you'll see Drintera on there. And there's links to worldanvil.com has a huge wiki for Drintera right there.
Yeah, it's getting big. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much of this then, because you mentioned, is none of this is crowdsourced, right? Like a wiki. So this has to be, as you said, gone through, checked with you. So all these are done by your specific writers, correct?
I've written some of them, but yes, most of them have been written by fairly paid writers, um, professional freelance writers, and
Hmm.
many of them, most of them have been professionally edited. And it was we were financing it through Patreon, so we do have a Patreon
Okay.
for people to support this creative work. And what I found is that the Patreon didn't get traction the way I had hoped it would. And to kickstart, as it were, this North American world building project, we have a Kickstarter. And the way this works is backers of the Kickstarter will get a PDF of the Throntru. Throntru is the continent. Okay, it's
Okay.
our version of North America. And that's a made up name um, that doesn't mean anything in particular, except it means Throntru. Backers will get a PDF of all the material that we write about Throntru in 2026, and it will be cross-published to World Anvil with a paywall. So patrons will be able to access the same material in wiki form. So if you
Okay.
want the PDF to keep forever, back the Kickstarter, or buy the product when it's done, but back the Kickstarter to help it become done. And if you want live access to the wealth of lore that we have, support the Patreon.
Okay.
And then I went and complicated it by adding a Kickstarter pledge level that gives you Patreon subscription. But I think
Right.
people can handle that if I explain it that way.
Right. So yeah, and then so people can look at, as of this, as of this recording, you can definitely check out, as you say, Kickstarter. So, say for instance, if somebody's listening to this, let's say 5 years from now, and
Yeah.
they said, "Oh, darn it, shucks, I missed the Kickstarter."
Mm-hmm.
Is this stuff would be available then on your Patreon page?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned too, just for our listeners to be aware of, this is system agnostic. This can be plugged into any system.
Yes. Now, we did make a creative decision at the beginning of 2025 that we will make explicit rule references to Pathfinder and to 5e, specifically Black Flag role playing, which is the open source version of Tales of the Valiant, which is a 5e like thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not creating new rules and new spells. We do have some new creatures. We're not creating a lot of new rules because I think people have enough rules.
Right.
And we're concentrating on lore, but I became convinced that gamers are looking for how to tie it in to the rules that they have. So, for example, I'm just hypothetically suggesting that there could be a warrior lodge in a North American style in Trantru. And we might say, well, these warriors generally correspond to the character class of a paladin in D&D.
Right. Right.
So we make the connection that way. And I consider that still system agnostic
Right.
because we're not you're not paying for a lot of content that can only be used with one system. Now,
Right.
the exception are creature stat blocks because my creators convinced me that there are North American style creatures that don't map to things that exist in 5e and Pathfinder. So we are making Black Flag role playing compatible stat blocks for the original, not original, but the Native American inspired creatures.
Now, so because originally around because you got me hooked on Fate Core, and now I
Uh
just
huh.
feel a little betrayed, Andrew, because you're
I
not
know.
having any Fate Core rules on this.
I am not. When you're paying people, right? You can't cover all the bases. Yeah, I admit, Barney, I have a dream that one day I'll make a Fate Core fantasy setting that is D&D like. I know
Uh-huh.
that this has been tried a few times before, but I can succeed where others have failed. However, I'm not willing to invest money in it this year. so,
Right. But no, I mean, because you bring up a good point though, is like 5e and then uh, and so you said Pathfinder.
mhm.
Those are usually systems that everybody has rules for anyway. So it's an easy pick up and go with.
That's what I'm trying to do is to lower the barrier to meet people where they are. If you want an inclusive fantasy world where maybe your adventuring party has characters of North American and European and Asian style fantasy and African style fantasy all together. If you have an adventuring party that looks like a modern gaming group in its demographics, then we want to make it easy for you to get that, to meet you where you are. And where people are is in 5e and Pathfinder.
People can just basically pick up this game and just run with it. Have you seen, what kind of feedback have you gotten from people that have play tested the world?
Well, I haven't really. I am using the world myself
Okay.
in my campaign, my Pathfinder campaign. I chickened out and I didn't jump into Throntru, I admit. So I went to Nieri, the European-style continent. But I'm planning for my adventurers to visit Throntru. Um, feedback mostly has been from people who are reading the lore of the world.
Okay.
And it's positive, not super specific. Just the feedback is people support the mission. They like what we're trying to do. They like the
Okay.
idea of a gaming world that is trying to bring world cultures into the fantasy world as equals, as in a post-colonial mentality, right? In a world where colonialism never happened.
Mm. I'm looking at too on I'm at the that worldanvil.com where we have the Drintera wiki on there, and it is constantly being updated. I notice you've had stuff. It seems like every couple of weeks there's a new post. There's a new listing in there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm doing is porting articles from the 2024 magazine into World Anvil behind a paywall, so that
Okay.
the Patreon subscribers who join this year will have access to that without having to buy the issues, right? So while you have a live subscription, you'll get access to all of the lore, including stuff that never was published in the magazine.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm noticing here, like under uh, Nearer, is that how you say it?
Nieri.
Nieri.
Hmm.
You had something that was posted back in July of last year. Then, boom, you have something that was posted January of 2026. So there's something always happening, it feels like, with this game.
Yeah, I try to post every week. I did post
Yeah.
last week. I'm on vacation, so I can't promise I'll post this week.
And so you mentioned earlier too that there's a drive-through RPG, so people can get a physical copies of Drintera as well now.
It's just PDF.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we have enough material to fill a book, but it's not focused enough to make a book that we want. Now, that's where the new plan, the 2026 plan, comes in.
Right.
Right.
So definitely for those out there for the Kickstarter, definitely go to the Kickstarter, and you can find it under Shoestone Publishing. And this has been your fourth Kickstarter. So congrats! You've always been very prolific with your Kickstarters. Very familiar with the Kickstarters. You've backed 70 of them so far, and you have 568 followers. So this is going to just launch and basically, knock on wood, launch and get funded within probably the first 30 seconds, right, Andrew?
Ha! Well, I've never had something fund that fast, but I've done more preparation. I'm learning how to do preparation and promotion.
Right.
And I want this to succeed because I want my writers and artists to succeed. I want them to be able to have as much writing and artwork commissions as they can do, or as that they care to do. Um, and that is how I've structured the project. The more money that we raise from backers, the more writing and artwork we commission, and the
Right.
bigger this 2026 zine gets. I'm imagining that the zine will be quarterly, and the if we fund to a high level, the third and fourth quarters will be big. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. All right. So Andrew, if people want to learn more about you and Shoestone Publishing, where's the best place they could go to?
my website, shoestone.com.
All right. There it is, right there, shoestone.com. Can't miss it. So right there. And then you got all of your other stuff in there as well, not
Yeah,
just Drintera, but you also got um Magnomia.
we do. Now,
Yeah.
you said you can't miss it, but you can if you don't know how to spell Shewstone. It's
Yes.
Shewstone. This is named after an archaic word for a crystal ball.
Shoestone. Yes. Shewstone. And the link will be in the show notes. Thank you so much, Andrew. I love you come on every year. I think I just got to give you like your own guest spot and you just come on and just talk about Drintera for like 10 minutes.
I would love to.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we can make a date. We can plan for next
Yeah.
year and see how it's going.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Oh, thank you. It's been great.